Hello and welcome to Jtech Automotive Technology School. And we are here today to show you how to tear down, inspect, and prepare for rebuilding a manual transmission. This is
Marvin Baines, and I'm from Chicago.
This is Bruce Barclay, and I'm from St. Louis.
My name is Tyler Kiefer from Jacksonville, Florida.
And without any further ado, Marvin's going to show us how to take the transmission apart.
Okay, so what you want to do first is you want to make sure you take off any electrical components. We have one electrical component here, a speed sensor. You want to make sure you take this off. And after you take all your electrical components off, you want to take the top cover shift linkage cover off. Next, you want to take your stitching housing off. And inside the stitching housing, you have reverse and fifth hardware. These right here. And after you would take your extension housing off, you would want to take your belt housing off, which is located right here. And what comes inside the belt housing, you have your cover and your other hardware. And then after you would do all that, you would inspect your components. And that's my question.
Okay, so when you're pulling all your components off of the transmission, you want to organize them in the way that they came off of it, and try to keep them in order and label them so you know where they came off, because you're not going to fool around with this stuff just yet. Okay, but like we said before, this is our reverse and fifth synchronizer. And this is our reverse and fifth gearing. This is a reverse idler. We got some various bearings in here for that, and we got the bearings that go up in the front cover. This holds the rear together. Got all our bolts separated. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out our. This is the main shaft. And this up here is the input shaft. We have to separate them. And the way you do that is you pull them apart like that. And then you should be able to, you want to take this blocker ring, pull out your main shaft, set it down. This is our main shaft assembly. It contains first, second, third gears. This is our input shaft. It contains fourth gear, which is actually right here. And this is the counter shaft. Okay, once you get to this point, you're going to want to clean this very, very thoroughly. From this point, you start your inspection phase. When you go into your inspection phase, you want to address one shaft at a time. You want to start with your shafts. Once you take them apart and inspect them, you can rebuild them. And when you're finished with them, you put them off to the side. You can start off with any shaft you want to, and from there, you want to work your shafts first, and then after you work your shafts, you work your other hardware. You're also going to want to work on your shift linkage and your shift forks. You have to take this stuff apart and go through it all, clean it all up, make sure everything is in good working order. Okay, and that is the end of my segment of the video. And thank you for watching, and we're coming right back to you.
All right, now today we're going to do the inspection. An inspection on a 5-speed transmission. Now what you want to expect here we have the input shaft. What you want to check for rust too, so everything else sees out. You want to check the splines. You want to make sure they're straight, nice, smooth, and there ain't no dents, nothing. And then you want to check the oil slinger, make sure it ain't broke. This one's pretty good. And what you really want to check is the bearings. These you want to make sure spin them. See how easily this spins? That means it's good. You want to spin it and feel for like little grains of sand could be in there. Like you can feel like little something hitting it when you spin, like it's running over something. So you want to check that. Check the races, the inner and outer bearing race. Okay. Then you want to check this part, the inside. Make sure it's all clean. You want to check your cone. Make sure it's smooth. Make sure it's real smooth for the blocker ring. Make sure there are no heat spots, hot spots, or anything. And then what you want to check is the dog teeth. You want to make sure they're not rounded, which these ones are a little bit. You want to make sure they're not rounded. If they're rounded, they can make it hard to shift. Okay. And then here, then what you want to check is the cone. Make sure it's smooth. For the blocker ring, then you want to check the inside here, make sure this is smooth for any warpage, because this is where your thrust bearing will go into. Okay, then here we got the counter shaft. Here what you want to check is these little slots here where the bearings will go on. You want to make sure them are nicely smooth, no heat spots, no little chips, cracked, anything. Okay, here you want to check your gears as well. You want to check the tips. You want to make sure they're not rounded. You want to check the tops and make sure they're not rounded as well. This one to me looks pretty good, so you want to expect that. Then here you want to go to the output shaft. Now like on the input shaft, you want to check the spines. Check these threads. This will be the bolt that bolts the output shaft on. And like you say, you want to check these for the bearings, with the bearing rods on. And here, you want to check this end. Check these, make sure these are all nice. No rust on the hub, on the synchronizer hub. Again, you want to check little dog teeth. Make sure they're not out around. And all the spines. And here, what we have here is the synchronizer assembly right here. What you want to check. See, here we got a blocker ring. The first one to check is the teeth on here. Check the roundness as well. Okay, check the outside cone that fits into the hub. Make sure that's round, smooth. And what you really want to inspect is the grooves here. You want to make sure they're nice and sharp. If they're dull, you take your finger, rub it like that. If it has no grip on your finger, that means they're dull. And it means that once it rides in here and it has the cone fits in here, it's like this. That one won't fit, but once the cone fits in here, when you go to shift it, this blocker ring would smash against the cone with these threads slowing to match the speed down to shift. Okay, now what you want to inspect is the shift sleeve. When you inspect it, you want to make sure it can move gently like this. If it's something stuck, if it sticks or hard to move, then there could be some like debris stuck in between the gear teeth. You want to check for the roundness and just to make sure there ain't no hot spots. Okay, that's the hub. Here you want on the shift sleeve, you want to check these little tips of these teeth. Make sure they ain't round. If they're rounded, it'll be hard to shift as well. Okay, and then you want to check the teeth inside of here as well. But now what you really want to look for is the gap here for the fork. Really, you're supposed to have, say this is my finger as the fork. You want to have no clearance barely. If you have lots of clearance like this, that means your fork was worn down from the shift sleeves turning a lot. Okay, so this is how you would put this like that, and that's synchronizer assembly there. And here you have his little keys that goes right up inside of here, just like this. These little different sides. But you put it here, then you would take the snap ring, and some of these will have a hole, like right there you have a hole. So you put this into the hole just like this. Then you would want to feed it around the keys just like that and hold it in. See how that keeps it from the shift sleeve coming off. Okay. Another thing you want to expect is this. This is the fourth gear, fifth gear. You would want, again, check the dog teeth on here. This, you want to check the cone. This is the cone. And some of these synchronizer rings will have like little pads almost that will also help slow it down. Fit on there, and it would press, and when it's turning it would press against the cone and match the speed so the synchronizer sleeve can shift it. Okay. And over here what you want, we have some bearing races, some bearing roller needle bearings, taper bearings. You want to expect these. You got a thrust bearer, you want to expect all these for rust, debris, maybe chips on the rollers. Okay, and you want to check especially little needle bearings. Okay, and here you want to check on the bearing race, you want to check for rust as well, like cracks, like little chips. Make sure all of them are good. Okay, and that's literally the inspection process. But now if you want to do a rebuild, a basic rebuild kit would be this. You would have your Welch plugs, your seals, gaskets, all your bearings. You have your seals as well, and your little oil singers. But in step up basic type kit, it would also come with some new synchronizer rings. So you want to replace your synchronizer rings, you would get that. So that's then in these bearings here too, you would want to check, make sure you see some of them been falling out. You'll make sure they're stay in, will not come out. Make sure they're real loose. Make sure they spin real nice. Okay, you want to make sure this part here is not bent, because if it's bent it could bind or break or probably even pop the bearings out. So that's how you want to do the inspection. So that's how you do an inspection on a 5-speed. So thank you for watching. My name is Tyler. Thank you for watching.